Everyone, how's it going? It's your boy Skilled Fawn, and today we are going to be doing a Need for Speed Most Wanted challenge run. Let's waste no time and get straight into the rules. Starting off, this is an Ultra Nuzlocke run. For those unfamiliar, let me explain. Nuzlocke means that if I lose a race event or get busted by the cops, I must sell that car. The Ultra part of it means that I'm only allowed to use stock cars, so no upgrades. This is a massive hindrance to the player, and it'll be interesting to see how we fare. Next, we must beat the game. Subsequently, we must defeat all bosses. I'm playing on the Xbox 360, so I'm unable to do boss skips. This will make things much more challenging while simultaneously more entertaining. Lastly, glitches and or exploits are allowed, so expect some cheeky ways to take down bosses and get around areas. Need for Speed Most Wanted is one of my favorite games, and so I'm super excited to share this with everyone. I attempted this run before and posted a compilation. Check that out, as this is part 2 to that video. Let me know down below if you'd like to see more Most Wanted content in the future. Make sure to smash the like button, comment, and subscribe if you haven't yet. Without further ado, let's get into the run. First run was full of confidence. As always, the M3 GTR sings a glorious song.
Stand by.
Fortunately, we have to say goodbye shortly afterwards, since Razor and his squad sabotaged our ride. From there, I went on to race the various Blacklist members. Eventually, poor cash decisions, like buying and using better cars when I didn't need to, a pack of rubber banding NPCs in various events, tore through every car I owned. By the time I limped into JV's events, I sold well over 15 plus cars, and barely enough cash to replace what I just lost. Mistake after mistake in JV's drag race sealed the deal, as I had not enough funds to continue on that save file. That crushing defeat taught me something invaluable. Patience is worth more than nitrous. Cash reserves are a lifeline, so we must ensure cash is spent and used wisely. Every vehicle is a single life. Because of this, most actions will have to be very precise, as messing up means the scrapyard for that vehicle. Armed with those harsh lessons, I headed back into my second go-round with a laser focus on preservation, strategy, and just a pinch of Rockport's shortcuts. No more screwing around, no more panic buys, and no more rushing into any race until I'd come up with a strategy. We start off behind the wheel of the M3 GTR and once again lose it shortly afterwards. Getting out of the prologue, we were able to select our first car. The first attempt I went with a Lexus, which wasn't all that bad. Had decent acceleration and top speed, but I definitely like the Cobalt better as it has a turbo to give it some slight boost alongside better top speed. Talk about the game progression for those unfamiliar to the game. Essentially, there are 3 things the player is going for: completing events, earning bounty, and finishing milestones. Races can be things such as speed trap, checkpoint, sprint, circuit, or drag. In this run, I avoided the speed trap and drag events as often as possible, as these would snuff cars left and right in previous attempts. Bounty the player collects from taking down cops and completing milestones. This is also collected every 10 seconds or so as the pursuit is going on, which increases depending on the heat level. Lastly, milestones. These are things such as trade paint with 5 cops, or stay in a chase longer than 5 minutes, etc. With this in mind, there's a lot that goes into progressing in the game. We'll showcase the majority of the events, but may breeze through some of the less noteworthy ones. Eventually, we get to face Sonny, aka Blacklist number 15. He drives a white Volkswagen Golf GTI. To face him, I need to get 20,000 bounty. It meant babysitting the cops as I collected the 2 pursuit milestones. I used the stock Cobalt as mentioned earlier. Cobalt was able to just easily get far ahead of Sonny's Golf in each race. Nothing too crazy here, just cruise control and dodge the cops, and land the final blow. Next up, I completed the various events to get to Taz. Both the events to get to him, alongside his events, weren't the most exciting. Still, there were some fun sprint events beforehand where I really got to get the Cobalt up to high speeds. Ultimately, we get to Taz, who drives a gold Lexus. These cool looking vinyls. Taz's strength is sprint racing, and so he challenged us to 2 sprint events. The first event was a walk in the park, especially since the end section was zooming on the highway. This was one of the perks of using the Cobalt, since it had a high top speed. The second event was over nearly as soon as it started. With that, we take down another Blacklist member. Because we took down Taz, our next Blacklist member is Vic. First though, I completed the various race events and milestones. This one checkpoint event almost screwed me over, losing the Cobalt. This is about the point where certain checkpoint events need to be avoided, since they are not doable in certain stock cars. Knockout events are both a gift and a curse. Let me explain. Similarly to circuit events, there's the buffer of laps allowing the player to catch up if mistakes were made. Another reason is because getting one person to stay behind the player is relatively easy, especially when car blocking. On the flip side, these can be quite tedious to complete, alongside being more than 6 minutes on average. At least it's safer than the speed traps. Ultimately, we get to Vic, who rocks this heavily modified Toyota Supra. Soon we will need to switch cars since the Cobalt will not be able to take down Baron or other Blacklist members in the tougher drag or speed speed trap events. Similarly to Taz, Vic has 2 sprint events. This time, things were much more challenging. Vic, with his tuned Supra, had a massive edge over my stock Cobalt. It was constantly close by, waiting for me to mess up to take the lead. Fortunately, we were able to get through this one, but we were still really close to possibly losing. Now we must add to our garage. Heading to the garage, I went in and picked up our newest ride, the GTI. This car will be extremely useful early on. One thing I decided to do in this run was have 2 cars on hand. I did similarly in the part 1 video. This way I have one quote-unquote crappy stock car for the cop events, while utilizing the more important cars for race ones. This was very necessary later in the game when cops and race events started to become a rubber band nightmare. Izzy is an interesting boss, not necessarily for her events, but because dang, I can never get an intro cutscene of hers that does not glitch out in some way. Like some car in the background always goes flying or gets smacked to the side. This is something super insignificant, but hey, I think it's pretty funny. Izzy's events are located in the newly opened beachfront section, which is quite beautiful to go through. In the end, we take her down, getting to a higher position on the blacklist. Unfortunately, I had to say goodbye to a few cars. Rest in peace, the GTI and Cadillac. Mentioned near the beginning that I won't be covering everything in this video. Instead, I recommend heading over to the VODs channel to watch full streams and highlights from the challenges I complete. I'll link this above in the top right hand corner, alongside putting it in the description. As there's so much information that I want to convey, I'd rather focus it on sections that are more interesting, such as the next blacklist member. Because we are getting further and further through the blacklist, more events are required to complete. This one knockout event was an absolute blast to go through. The player can cut through the prison, giving them a massive advantage over the other opponents. Let's just say this was an easy one. Baron, oh Baron. This dude alongside JV are my arch rivals whenever I play this game. Baron has 2 events, sprint race, which is doable, and what, a drag race? Yeah, we might be feeding Baron some cars. I opted to go with a Supra since this car is a bit weaker than the other cars we have unlocked. This way we can save the better cars if we end up losing, ultimately letting me strategize further. Well, as I predicted, Baron smoked me on the drag event, leaving me in the dust. As I went through a sprint race again, I was thinking of what would be best. I ended up doing this exploit, basically forcing him into the wall. In most cases, the opponent will still be able to escape, but will give me a much needed head start. With that out of the way, I cautiously made my way to the finish line, hoping to not randomly slam into a car, because yeah, the lane systems are a bit janky from time to time. Ultimately, with some skill and a bit of luck, we defeat Baron, one of the more challenging opponents on our journey. This is about the point in the game where shit really starts to hit the fan and from every direction. The cops, the race events, everything is going to be a lot more difficult. Cops, for example, can now go to heat level 3. This will make roadblocks, interceptor units, and rhinos become a lot more apparent. Race events are similarly harder. Opponents rubber banding past me was more frequent, forcing me to be ultra precise in my driving. Because we defeated Baron, alongside completing the next set of events, we were able to challenge Earl. This man is the king of rubber banding, constantly zooming up right next to me. In his second event, he played without ever making an error, and he would hard grip those corners. Going through a second time, this time with a Porsche, things went much better. Whenever he would throw a rubber banding temper tantrum, the Cayman S went into overdrive, making sure he never got past. Even though we have more disadvantages to advantages, this car is just so well balanced early on that it makes up for a lot of the shortcomings of using stock cars. In the end, we take down Earl and claim his markers. I haven't mentioned these yet, but they allow the player a chance at getting the blacklist member's car alongside some other benefits. Unfortunately, most options are quite pointless to us in this challenge. The only ones I'm really looking for are the pink slips and cash rewards. The pink slips are great since I can sell the car to get some decent cash. Subsequently, I had a golden age with the Cayman S. I was able to retain it for quite a long time. During this time, I took down Jules, another incredibly difficult boss for this challenge, since she has a drag race. Drag races essentially require nitrous, so winning these types of events is like David and Goliath. Quite surprised that I ended up winning, since I actually messed up this exploit I figured out where you force Jules into an oncoming car. Well, no matter, a win's a win. Op chases are brutal now, as in these later game sections, the player can get to heat level 4 and 5. In these higher heat levels is where spike strips, helicopters, and more aggressive cops can be found. I think this game does an excellent job with cops and events being balanced compared to previous and future installments. Carbon is another Need for Speed title I really enjoy. Cops don't really play a pivotal role in the story, which is quite a shame. I really hope for a future Need for Speed title that they look back at the past to see what works and what didn't. From the car design in Carbon to the night events and Heat, there are so many options to work with. I would love a new Most Wanted, a true successor to this game, but unfortunately EA doesn't seem interested. Such a shame, because this would please the fans and EA's wallet. Before getting to Ming, I was going through the various races completing them. With most of them completed, I only had a few options left. Ended up going with a speed trap event that killed the Cayman S. It was quite unfortunate since we had this car for quite a while. Then I lost the Lancer, the GTO, alongside the RX-7. Things were starting to unravel rather fast. I decided to take things a bit more cautiously going forward since I needed extra cars to combat JV. Ming's events were quite interesting since I was using the Lotus Elise. This is a really awesome car when upgraded, but stock suffers from low top speeds and acceleration. The one upside is it has some of the best handling in the game. I was happily surprised when the Lotus beat his speed trap event, since yeah, I should not have won that with this car. Because we defeated Kaze, Ming, and Webster, we were able to progress towards JV and his events. Regarding milestones, this is damn difficult. There are 5 needed to progress into the boss fights. 4 of them are things that involve cops. These were straightforward. The 5th one, the player needs to complete a speed check at a certain miles per hour. There are 3 options, but I found this specific one to be the only one that can be completed in stock cars. Even then, it was extremely close. Ultimately, we get to his boss fight and have to take him out. I was debating on whether or not I should use and purchase that Gallardo or not, but ended up sticking with the Turbo S, which still packs quite the punch. His first event is difficult as it's a speed trap, but to make sure that I get higher speed ratings while not getting too far ahead where he rubber bands like crazy. Oh gosh, the dreaded drag race. This is easily the hardest drag race in the game by itself. Now add Ultra Nuzlocke parameters on top, well, you're looking at an extremely low chance at winning. Knowing that I had to take him down at the beginning, otherwise it would just be a straight loss, I ended up getting him to collide with a truck, resulting in him totaling out. Afterwards, it was a gentle stroll to the finish line since I didn't want to join him in the junkyard. Third and final event was the easiest of the 3. Still, I had to be on guard constantly. In the end, I was immensely happy to beat him on the first try, as the previous attempts I was feeding him cars left and right. With only a few bosses left to go, we are close to beating the game at challenge. Ronnie and Bull are the next 2. As their race events are going on, I want to talk about the challenge as a whole. Ultra Nuzlocke is definitely challenging, especially with the opponent's difficulty changing throughout races, aka rubber banding. While most events are doable, any event can bring about a loss. If the player does not play near perfectly, it generally means sending the car to the scrap heap. Drag and speed traps are the most difficult, as opponents have more advantages compared to other events where even if the player is underpowered, they can still get through. Knockout and checkpoint events, while they are tedious and time consuming, are relatively safe to complete. While there are a few outliers during the run, most car losses were from the other events. Cop chases were, as always, a major highlight of the run. They're both challenging, yet fun every time, especially heat level 4 and 5 chases. Boss fights vary in difficulty. Big Blue is the epitome of easy and straightforward, while JV is the complete opposite. Because of this, I really had to strategize and be prepared for each boss, in case they were truly challenging. While there are only 4 bosses with drag races, each one felt like its own little nightmare that I had to endure. With Ronnie and Bull defeated, we have one Blacklist member left, the man who stole our ride. Razor is the final boss in this game. Getting to him is no easy feat. First is the 13+ minute cop chase. Unless the player starts at heat level 1, this chase is almost guaranteed to go to heat level 5, where Cross and the state troopers will pursue the player. The events similarly are long and arduous. This is where 9 events are needed to progress, so I went through each one grinding them all out. Eventually we get to Razor himself. I need to face him once again, this time being the last, hopefully. I decided to go with the last car unlocked in the game, which is the Carrera GT. I really enjoyed using this car and that engine noise. Oof, that shit damn beautiful sounding. Razor has 5 events, which is the most out of any other Blacklist member. The speed trap event at the beginning is a lot tougher than it seems, because 9 times out of 10, the player will get to the finish before Razor even touches the last speed trap. This results in an easy win. What's not an easy win though is the subsequent event, which is a drag race. Similarly with most drag events, I knew I needed to do something to gain the advantage over him. This time, it was forcing Razor to collide with the supports of the bridge. Thankfully, I did do that, since otherwise I would have easily lost. The only other notable thing with Razor is the prison skip. This is quite well known in the Most Wanted community. For those unfamiliar, let me explain. There's a section that allows the player to bypass the barriers on the racetrack, slipping by to the other side. This area is much more straight and allows for higher speeds. Afterwards, the player skips the prison, which saves a lot of time and guarantees them the win. Ultimately, we defeat Razor, taking down the Blacklist. With the Blacklist defeated, we only have one mission left: survive. With heat level 6 cops on us, we are swarmed constantly. I had to be ultra meticulous with my movement to best avoid cops, spike strips, and the plethora of rhinos that come around every other corner. In the end, we get the call from Mia and must escape to the bridge. This was such an awesome run to complete, and I'm so excited it's almost, oh, I see. Well, That's that. Yeah, super unfortunate, but in the final moments of the game, I got busted. As per the rules, this is a lost car, and since it's the only car available in the section, it's an L. Dang, we were so close too. Similarly to part 1, this was another tough challenge that resulted in us failing. Even though we did not complete it, we did much better than in part 1, where I couldn't even get past Razor. In the future, we will have to revisit this together. This was Need for Speed Most Wanted Ultra Nuzlocke Attempted, and well, we weren't able to complete it. From the cops to the race events, it seems like everything had it out for us in this challenge. Let me know down below. If you want to see more Need for Speed content in the future, plan to do this challenge on Carbon and have something else in the works. Thank you for watching the video. Make sure to hit the like button, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. This greatly helps to support me and the channel, alongside pushing the video out to others who may be interested. Try to do something kind for someone today, whether it's a small or large gesture. This is your boy Skilled Fawn, and I'm out.